Hey guys, it's me, OptimusPhillip, and as of the time of me starting to write this review, I just saw The Amazing Spider-Man 2 in theaters. And you're probably wondering what I thought of the movie. I'll get the big stuff out of the way right now. Is it any good? Yes. There are more than a few good things about the movie. Is it worth seeing? Well, that depends on who you are. I enjoyed it, but I'm not 100% certain it was worth the price of admission. Is it the best Spider-Man ever? No. Not by a long shot. If you're looking to watch the best Spider-Man movie ever, I'd suggest watching Spider-Man 2. That still holds up after 10 years. Here's the spoiler-free version of why I am disappointed in this movie. To start with, let me discuss the good points, so that I don't come across as more pessimistic than usual. The fights are very entertaining, and the visual effects do not disappoint. Rhino definitely looks like the real thing, and Electro looks awesome too. The acting is very amazing as well, and Peter and Gwen still have that great chemistry that I loved from the first movie. And Jamie Foxx also makes Electro very sympathetic. You also get really emotionally invested. There was at least one point where I nearly cried. I'd be a little more specific, but spoilers. Electro was also a really great character, both in appearance and characterization. He was a very sympathetic character, and you understand why he went crazy. He thought Spider-Man was his friend, but then it seems like Spider-Man's completely turned on him when he forgets his name and basically hogs the spotlight. Rhino, again, also looks pretty cool, though I wish he looked more like a rhinoceros, and the CGI is phenomenal. Seriously, you cannot look at a picture of him without thinking, that's CG? Looks more like a prop. And of course, the humor. You cannot talk about a Spider-Man movie without talking about humor. There's the scene where Peter is trying to get out of his costume before Aunt May gets into the room. By the way, I also like that the automated deadbolt from the first movie returns in the scene. And when Aunt May questions the soot on Peter's face, how Peter responds to that is very funny.
No, I was cleaning the chimney.
We have no chimney.
What?
That's not the only example of the humor in the movie. There's also the part where Gwen gets frustrated when Spider-Man webs her hand to a car and she accidentally yells his name and catches herself. Now, that's not all the humor there is, but jokes are funny when they're surprises, and if I told you all the jokes, they wouldn't be nearly as funny when you actually saw the movie. Harry's presence in this movie is just wow. He comes across as a threat even before he becomes Green Goblin, and you know that he's gotta be a big deal if that's the case. I do like that they are continuing with Peter's parents' arc from the first movie, because I was really looking forward to more of that. But at the same time, that holds one of my biggest gripes, but this is not the part for gripes. Lastly, I like the tons of comic book references. There's one scene that pays homage to a classic comic, and there's a clock that reads the issue number, but I'm not gonna tell you which one. Again, spoilers. And then the Peter Parents arc, which is obviously meant to set up Venom for a future movie. And Felicity Jones plays Harry Osborn's assistant, who's called Felicia, who's obviously meant to be Felicia Hardy, better known as Black Cat. Now you know why I liked. But what you're probably wanting to know is why I didn't like it that much. Peter and Gwen romance, while they do have great chemistry, takes up way too much of the movie. And like with Spider-Man 3, some plot threads push other plot threads to the side when they should be a big deal. Electro, who seems to be the main villain, gets only 2 fairly short fights with Spider-Man, spends the rest of the movie either in Ravencroft or being Harry's pawn. Green Goblin only gets 1 fight with Spider-Man at the climax, and I'd hardly call the Rhino fight a fight scene, since we only see Spider-Man start to throw a sewer lid at him. Seriously, you could see the entirety of the Rhino fight in the trailers. I wouldn't mind the Rhino thing if they were just setting him up for the next movie and possibly the Sinister Six movie, but they advertise him as a villain of this movie, and I was expecting him to be a villain of this movie. He comes across as like the Underminer from The Incredibles. Was he advertised as a major villain? No. Should Rhino have been advertised as a major villain? No. The Peter's Parents arc is also one of my biggest issues, since it is completely forgotten about halfway through the movie. At least The Amazing Spider-Man made their part of that arc stand alone, or at least able to stand alone, with the room to be elaborated on a sequel. Here, we're left hanging at the scene at Roosevelt Station. One more thing about this, Richard Parker is shown to have killed all of his genetically altered spiders. Okay. But there's one problem. His genetically altered spiders appear in the present of the first movie. Where did those come from? Also, I do wish that the villains looked more like their comic book counterparts. Tiny nitpick, but it still gets me. I don't mind Electro's look. Electro looks cool. The ultimate look for Electro works a lot better on film than the green and yellow suit. The ones that I don't like are Rhino and Green Goblin. Oh, let me rephrase that. I don't mind the way they look. They still look cool. It's just that I wish Green Goblin looked a little more like, Green Goblin, and less like Harry Osborn with weird hair and jaundice. And also, Rhino, I wish looked more like a rhino. So yeah, there are a lot of good points, but the bad points just affect the entire movie. Overall, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was a disappointment for me. I give it a 5.5 out of 10. The fights were entertaining, Peter and Gwen have great chemistry, and it's a good thrill ride, but the story's just messy. Thanks for watching. This is OptimusPhillip, rolling out. Why is there an X-Men trailer in a Spider movie?